Hey everyone, today we're going to be going over two different exponent properties. The first one is the zero exponent property, which is just a whole number with a zero as the exponent. So let's do whole number 5 with exponent 0. Okay, so 5 exponent 0, and this should be pretty easy to remember. The zero property for exponents is just that it will always be, as long as it is 1 through any other number, 0 is not included. So if it's 0 exponent 0, that could possibly be a different answer, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So 1 through, end of eternity, goes on forever till infinity. So 5 exponent 0, the answer is 1. Okay, or you could have like 92 exponent 0, or you could have 1083 exponent 0. 0 equals, and those will all equal 1. Okay, and you can try to remember it that way, but in case you forget, you can use your calculator. So on our calculator, the way we show exponents is by using this little caret button right here. So if I want to do 5 exponent 0, I'm going to type in 5 caret 0 equals 1. Okay, and that's what we had, so that's good. So let's try 92 exponent 0. So 92 caret exponent 0 equals 1. Let's try our last one. 1083 caret 0 equals 1. So no matter what number you put in, as long as the exponent is 0, the answer will still be 1. Okay, because you are multiplying, it by 1 0 times. So it's just 1. So that's pretty straightforward. So anytime you have a 0 exponent, the answer is always 1. Okay. The second property that we're going to learn is the property of negative exponents. So for example, if you have the number 2 to the 4th. So 2 to the 4th is pretty simple. Probably done this before. So when we have our exponent, we kind of use our exponent as multiplying by 1. So I made those the same color. And then we're going to multiply 2 times itself this many times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and so 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 times 2 is 16. Okay, so if we were to take this number 2 and give it a negative exponent of negative 4, okay, so now we can still do the same thing where it's 1, and what you're going to do is multiply it by the reciprocal. So this is the long way. When we have the number 2, this is actually 2 over 1. The fraction for 2 is 2 over 1. Any whole number is that whole number over 1. So you would just multiply it by the opposite. So it would be 1 over 2 times 1 over 2 times 1 over 2 times 1 over 2 equals, and you can either do this in your calculator or in your head. If you multiply 1/2 by 1/2 by 1/2 by 1/2, you will eventually get to 1/16. Okay, and a faster, maybe easier way to do this would be when you look at something like 2 to the negative 4th. Okay, let me go ahead and erase that. So you've got 2 to the negative 4th. Oops, not working very well, the purple. I'm having trouble with markers today. So you have 2 to the negative 4th. All you're going to have to do is turn this negative exponent, again like we did up here, we turned it into a 1. So we're going to turn that exponent into a 1. So I'm going to do equals 1 over, and when we say 1 over, we're getting rid of this negative. So we're doing 1 over 2 to the 4th, a positive 4th. Okay, so by putting this, this 1 over, we are taking away the negative exponent. So we have 1 over a positive 2 to the 4th. So if we had, for example, 3 to the, I got too many markers going on here, 3 to the like negative 6th. Negative 6. Does that even look like a 6? 3 to the negative 6. There we go. 3 to negative 6 equals 1 over 3 to a positive 6. Okay, let's make sure that looks more like a little 4, an exponent. Okay, so you are going to just flip it around. Now, if this is still kind of confusing for you, because it is still a few steps, fear not, because this handy dandy fancy calculator here is going to help us out. So if we have a number with an exponent like 2 to the negative 4th, okay, just like we were doing before, so you can go ahead and put in 2 caret this negative sign down here. So don't use the minus, because if you use the minus sign, it won't work. So you need to do the negative. So 2 caret negative 4 equals, and you're going to get something that looks kind of like this with the decimal. So I'm going to second fraction of decimal, and I got 1/16, which, okay, so the reason this looks a little bit different is just because 2 to the 4th is 16. If you remember, 2 to the 4th up here is 16. So 1 over 16 is the same as 1 over 2 to the 4th. Either of these would be correct answers. Okay, so that's the easy way to do it on the calculator. I'll do one more. I'll do 3 caret negative 6. Okay, again, I get this big, long decimal, so second fraction of decimal. And we have 1 over 729. So here, we didn't figure that one out yet, but 7 over 729, so if I do 3 to the 6th power, 729, perfect, okay? And that's a good way to check that too, okay? So if I know it's going to be 1 over 3 to the 6th, and I come out with that, if I do 3 to the negative 6th, and it comes out like this, okay? That's how I can double check that, by checking what 3 to the 6th is, okay? So you can do it sort of the longer hand way, which does take, you know, a little bit longer. It might be easier, or it might just be easier for you to go ahead and do it on the calculator. Either way, hopefully this makes a little bit of sense to you, and if you have questions, be sure to ask Mr. Wright, Mrs. Paulke, or Miss Roberts for help.